All right, Brad, let's move it. We got, what are we? We're about halfway through here. We got Oakland. This is a very interesting game to me. Oakland got beat down pretty good by Green Bay, but we said that that actually Derek Carr and the running game played well. It was just a couple of Derek Carr turnovers, was the issue in that game in terms of covering the spread. We have Oakland +7 at Houston, who has lost Will Fuller to a hamstring injury, although it looks like Stills is pretty good there in relief. So these teams are relatively healthy. I'm not sure if Trent Brown's going to play yet. We'll look at that later in the week, and we'll also do a deep dive like we did for the Oakland game last week. But anyway, Brad, Oakland once again +7 at Houston.
Oakland +7 at Houston. I like Oakland in this one. It seems like Houston's always in the closest games of the weekend, does it not?
Yeah.
Right? They're always battling, and it's always a super tight one. Comes down to a field goal or some miraculous stuff. I think it's gonna be nice and close. I don't see anything wrong with Oakland.
No.
Like we thought they were gonna be like a
dumpster fire.
A dumpster fire,
We
just
did.
terrible. Like the doors are gonna come off. And I think we did a little bit of disservice to John Gruden.
We did, certainly. We're eating crow on that.
We're eating crow for sure, and
Yeah.
we can admit it, and we're eating it right now. And for some reason, we were treating him like he's some type of joke. Or
Well,
like out of touch.
Yeah, that's what it was. I thought he would be out of touch. I always thought that the Antonio Brown trade was oil and water, and I thought that was going to be like a cancer on this team. And Oakland
he traded Khalil Mack, so that
Yeah.
made him look a little stupid.
Right? And I think history still proves us right on that.
Yes, that doesn't change things, but that doesn't mean he can't coach.
You're right.
He was always a good coach, from what I remember. I don't ever remember like ever being bad at it.
No. And so here's the deal with, in my opinion, with Gruden. So Mayock and the leadership there is they did the absolute right thing. Is they ate it and they said, you know what, we made a mistake trading for Antonio Brown. He's a loose cannon. We thought we could make it work. We didn't. I know we lost a draft pick, but let's just get rid of him because he's bad for the team. And once they did that, I think that galvanized the roster.
I think it did. I think that brought everyone together and that said, we don't need this prick.
Mm-hmm.
We can handle our business, and we are going to.
And let me just say this as anybody out there who has a job, right? And Brad and I were career types. Well, I wouldn't call Brad a career type, but I was a career type for a while.
Slacker.
Yeah, Brad was a slacker. We worked on the same team, but I love Brad because Brad made me look good, and he helped further my career just by showing up every day.
I'm good for you for that, baby.
It's why you take me to the bars, because I make you look good with my physical appearance.
We pay each other back.
There you go. But no, like Gruden, like what that shows at Oakland, it shows a couple of things. Oakland, the team, it's like, this guy's a distraction. He's been a distraction all year. He's very talented, but you know what? We're not going to deal with that. That's not what we're going to do as a team. Get rid of him. And what does that do? That immediately makes the rest of your players think, okay, I'm going to be held accountable if I'm full of crap. I mean, it's. I think from a leadership point of view, it's good. I also like from a leadership point of view. I thought the trade was stupid, but being willing and having basically the balls to say and go to your ownership and say, look, I know we gave the contract. I can't remember what the guaranteed money was. I know that's actually going to be in litigation anyway. But we gave the contract, we gave the picks. We were wrong. Let's just admit that we're wrong now and move on. And to
what else it says, Sean, is. I know we had the Hard Knocks here. They had the Hard Knocks there, right?
Yeah, right.
We are not a farce. We are not a circus. Mm-hmm. We are not some type of show, and people are not going to be throwing peanuts at our outtakes and antics. Yeah. We are a real football team, and we're here to ball out. And we don't need this bullshit gone. Yep. Let's suit up and let's do it. And you're right. I think that brought everybody together.
Mm-hmm. And Derek Carr, one of my things coming into the season too is, hey, look, Derek Carr, when they had Amari Cooper, which also, by the way, I think was a bad move, trading him away.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
But
was he upset there? Was he not happy there? Was that the deal?
I don't really know what happened there. I think it was a personality thing with Gruden, and that was kind of fueling our being down on them this year. But they're winning. Right. They're winning with. If they had Cooper and Mack instead of what they did in the draft this year, I think they'd be even better. But that said, I mean, we like what this team is doing, and the bottom line is Gruden has a group of guys now that are buying into him. And that's so important. And the one thing I've just really been impressed with is Oakland starts like every game fast. And so what does that mean to me? That means, one, the game plans are good on both sides. Paul Guenther, by the way, is an underrated guy. He was running the defense in Cincinnati underneath Marvin Lewis for years. So they have good coaching staff, and they have good game plans. Gruden always seems, and what really impresses me is he was out of the game for 10 years or something like that, doing announcing, whatever it was. And like when Joe Gibbs came back after a similar amount of time to Washington, the game had passed him by. But John Gruden, just by being and doing these, these Gruden things during the draft, and he's always studying tape because he was the Monday Night Football guy, he came in and the game hadn't passed him by. You could see, even in that Packers loss, you could see the power of that scheme. They didn't have their wide receivers. They're all banged up. The tight ends were looking rowdy in that game. He's scheming guys open. And, man, I'm just impressed by this team, even though the record doesn't show it. I think they're undervalued. I'm going to take – I actually think this is a very, very close cover. I think Houston wins close, but it would not shock me in the least to see Oakland pull this game off. It really wouldn't, because they're going to stop the run, and it's going to come down to who can outduel each other, Derek Carr or Deshaun Watson. If Watson throws 1 to 2 interceptions, like if Oakland can force a couple turnovers, Oakland will win the game. But
dude, there is nothing wrong with Oakland. Like they are in no way like a subservient product or
I'm really
like
impressed. And I'm definitely eating crow from and just like Buffalo this year we were down on. We were like for the most part, Brad, I would say we're right on maybe 28 of the 32 teams, but Buffalo was one, and Oakland is definitely another one. We're eating crow there, and I like what Oakland's doing, and they're building what I call a program. I'm saying the same thing about Indianapolis. That the coaching staff that they have, when you get the right group of guys with the coach, and Derek Carr now being able to take deep shots, which he wasn't doing last year, is a completely different team. Let's talk about Houston for a little bit, by the way.
Yeah,
because this is becoming an Oakland, thing. Houston, I like quite a bit too. But you're right, man. They play in a lot of like close games. Deshaun Watson is, there's a lot of talk about Russell Wilson. Deshaun Watson could easily be the MVP, especially with Mahomes going to be missing a few weeks now.
Well, that's an interesting conversation. Who do you think is the MVP so far?
So far, I would say Russell Wilson, although it wasn't a good look to see what Baltimore did to him last week. But again, that's something we disagreed on that. That's something I was kind of anticipating. So when I anticipate kind of a tougher performance from a quarterback, and then I see it, I don't freak out about that. It's like Sam Darnold.
Sure.
I still like Sam Darnold. I knew he was going to lay an egg against New England. How could he not?
I think what's happening in Seattle to that point is I don't think Seattle is very good, but I think Russell Wilson is playing at an extremely high level. And so if he does not – if he doesn't pull rabbits out of his hat, the teams – it was like where Aaron Rodgers was there, in my opinion, 14, 15, and 16.
Yeah.
He was playing so damn well and he had nothing else.
Yeah.
That could be happening in Seattle. But they are 5-2, so –
yeah, they're just fine.
Two home losses, one to what, Baltimore, and the other to San Fran?
New Orleans.
Okay, so –
odd, but undefeated on the road of Seattle, which we'll talk about them in a little bit. Yeah, man, I think Deshaun Watson could very easily, be the MVP. I don't think as good as the Patriots are this year. I don't think that Brady is a factor yet in that MVP discussion, just because the defense is so dominant. But anyway, so yeah, Brad, I think you and I are both on Oakland. I think it's a close cover. I think you're feeling more so that Oakland +7 is going to win this game. We'll do the deep dive later in the week. I'll have a much stronger projection and a game plan for both teams. From the fantasy football point of view, Derek Carr is a fringe start. Josh Jacobs is a definite start. Tyrell Williams, if he's back, is a start. And I love Waller this week as a start. For Houston, I think that Deshaun Watson's a definite start. I think Duke Johnson is better than Carlos Hyde. Duke Johnson's a start. Hyde is not. DeAndre Hopkins is a start. Kenny Stills is a start. And and Darren Fells, I think, is a borderline scoop and play.